Metaphysics we define as beyond the physical. This is what we've always said metaphysics is. It is actually an understanding of energy, how it responds to thought, how it creates matter and sustains a reality. That's metaphysics. We're looking at the energy, the creative life force that we are surrounded in, how it responds to our collective thoughts, how it responds to our directions, how it is sustained to make this world. Morality comes under metaphysics. It's when a whole group of people have a similar thought, and they start creating this thought, this collective thought. Morality is the accepted human behavior of a collective and exists as a part of our world. It's accepted human behavior of a collective. The principles of morality change because the human mind changes. If you've ever studied history, you know that morality has changed over time. The bottom line, morality is a collective group decision, and morality tells you what you need to choose. I want you to hear that. Morality tells you what you need to choose. Metaphysics is understanding that God is our creator. There's energy all around us. We have choice, the freedom to choose. And we are sourcing from God. We are sourcing from this energy, and we get to choose our reality. Do you see the difference? All right, do you understand that morality is a part of our society and that you are steeped in it? Absolutely steeped in it, because it is the norm. It gets very complicated. We think we're free thinkers, but so much of our perceptions and concepts are morally based. They were given to us by the day, the morality of the day, when you were born. Has anyone ever serviced or helped an elderly person, someone who's getting ready to cross over, and they start reverting back to the morality of their childhood? Even though they've been free thinkers and happy as they're in their 80s, but all of a sudden they're starting to revert back to prejudices they had as children or beliefs they had as children, because that morality is still in their subconscious mind. And whether you realize it or not, if it's in us, it's working through us. If it's in us, it's working through us. So this is why God wants us to start working on this. All right. Morality of the day keeps us safe. It tells you what to do. And there's an inherent reward. If you do what morality asks you to do, you're going to be safe because you're going to be accepted. We will love you. You'll be like us. So this beautiful promise of being one with the world. It's a great promise, isn't it? And don't you seek acceptance? And I have another lesson on that. You can never know self, freedom, or expansion in morality. You just cannot. As we go through this today, let our watchword be peace. Do you remember the service last week when we talked about Jesus' way, his way? And he said, my watchword is peace. I want this internal light, balance, self, goodwill within me, peace within me. So we want to stay in peace. Y'all ready? Okay. I want to take you through some of the Jesus history. What is one of the first things this child did, as it tells us in the Aquarian? He went to the temple. He is a kid. He's not 12 years old yet. And he goes to the priest and he said, why are you killing these animals? My God is a God of love. Can you not hear them crying in fear? Why are you doing this? And the priest said to him, get out of here, you little boy, smarty pants. I don't want to talk to you. And then the head priest came and he said to the head priest, please tell me why. My God is a God of love. I don't understand. And Hillel, the head priest, said, we're going to find that God of love together. And he took him under his wing. He bucked the principles of the law of his time from the beginning. And remember, the laws of his time were punitive. The laws of the they weren't Christians. The laws of the Jewish faith were the government as well. So you could literally be killed by violating a law. There was punitive, there was punishment, and there was stoning. You could be killed. So the laws of their faith were strong. And here's this little kid saying, no, I can't buy that. Don't you think that put the fear in the priesthood? What is this little kid doing? He's wrecking my world. This is where we stand. And then he always stood against the laws in this way. Do you remember the time when a man was hungry and his children were crying for bread? And he said to them, I'll bring bread. He said to himself, I'm going to bring bread back, whatever. And he begged all the time for bread. And he went to a rich woman's house, and she was giving bread to the dogs. And he took the bread. He stole the bread. And he was arrested. and he was being tried, and Jesus came upon the trial. They used to have the trials out in the middle of the city, at the city gate or something, and all the high up Jewish people would judge the situation. And the woman was winning. He stole the bread, and the man said, I did. I took the bread. I took it from my children. They were hungry. And she said he should go to jail. And Jesus stepped up and said, excuse me, I call you the thief because you withheld food from a man whose children needed food. I call you a thief because you had it and you refused to give it. And you kept good from those who could have used it. The morality of that moment, every good, upstanding Jew would have gone, he's bucking the system, man. This is not good. This is not good. Yet then they all agreed with him. Yeah, you're right. And he said to the people, give this man bread for his children. And they all opened up their coats because they didn't have McDonald's. So they'd carry food with them, opened up their coats and gave food to this man so he could take it home to feed his family. Jesus didn't let the law tell him what to do. And remember the pregnant girl, the one that got caught? I talk about her all the time because I love that girl. I just love that girl. She was the one that got caught in adultery. And to get caught in it, because you remember as a child, I always go, well, where's the guy if she got caught in adultery? She was pregnant. That's how she got caught in adultery. I mean, there's no denying, I'm single and pregnant. Something happened here. And do you remember they tried to get him to use the law to stone her because the law was she should be stoned. And Jesus could not go there. He said, he who is without sin cast the first stone. And he took it from this moral space of she has sinned and must die, and the baby, to a space of individual choice. Look here, people, you've done stuff. And all the people left because all had done stuff. He stepped out of the morality, and the morality had dictated laws that had kept the people in chains. Do you all understand? Okay. You can readily see that. There's one other time that I wanted to share with you. He was at a rich man's house named Simon. And if you want the scriptures references, I can give them to you later. And he went in, and a hooker, courtesan, a woman who shared her body freely for money, came in, and she started to cry. And she brought in some oil, and she washed Jesus' feet. This is not the Mary story at the end of his life. This is in the middle. And she's crying and wiping her hair, his feet with her hair. And she's touching him and just washing his feet with this expensive oil. And the owner of the party in the house thought in his mind, man, if he knew who that was, he would not let her touch him. And of course, Jesus heard the thought. And Jesus said, Simon, what are you thinking? Did you wash my feet? Did you put expensive oil on my feet? You did not. You did not. Yet she has come and given me all that she has. No, she is blessed. And who is the most rewarded person? The one who overcomes great, or the one who makes a little mistake? And Simon said, the one who overcomes great. And Jesus said, let her be. She is of my energy. She's of my heart. He stood in metaphysics. He stood seeing the heart, seeing the energy, seeing the light. He did not stand in morality. He stood in metaphysics. All right. He did not tell them to defy the law. He said, don't defy the law because they'll get you. He actually said, don't even take your stuff to court. If you've got a problem with your neighbor, settle it before you go to court because they're going to get you. Because the courts were not fair. They were levied to take your assets, you know? So he was very much do it individually, person to person. Settle your differences together. Live love, live life. Live in a new social structure of love. Do you realize, because we're leaving Jesus now, we're coming to us. Do you realize that in our country, in 1967, June 22nd of 1967, you were either born or your parents were born in 1967. I want you to realize how short a time ago that was, 50 years. In 1967, a law was repealed. 16 states in the United States still said it was illegal to have interracial marriages. 16 states said it was illegal. Native Americans could only marry Native Americans. African Americans could only marry African Americans. Asians could only marry Asians. It was extreme. And some of those states still levied that law. There's a movie out about it. That's the only reason I know anything about it. I watched this movie and I thought, oh my God, how could that be? How could that have happened in my country? How could that have happened? A couple was actually in Virginia sentenced to a year in prison, or they got to leave the state, which they chose to do. But the Supreme Court repealed this law in 1967. Do you see the morality that created that law? Did you feel like I feel like, oh my God, how could that happen? How could that happen? Do you know what I am feeling? Morality. I'm not feeling metaphysics. I'm feeling the morality of today. I'm feeling morality. Today our morality is, no, everybody can choose. No, love who you want to love. Be with who you want to be with. That's our collective morality today. And I'm simply experiencing that. Had I taken the metaphysical look, I would have gone, that is the dangest thing I've ever heard. I wonder why they chose to let someone take their choices away. I wonder why they chose to be born in different races and come together. Maybe they chose to shine a light on this law. I wonder why that happened. I'm so glad now that we get to choose. Do you see the metaphysical difference? But Cindy goes to morality. That's how deeply we are programmed to feel. And in our world today, isn't our morality comfortable, that part of it? It's comfortable, isn't it? I like being there. I like having everybody get to pick who they want to be with. I think that's great. That's great. That's great. Same-sex marriages were not even approved in the United States until recently. They were approved in Ireland, a Catholic country, before they were approved here. Oh, my goodness. I love our morality today. Do you see? All right. So we have to be very, very careful as we're moving through our world to see that we are deeply embedded. Deeply embedded. And as metaphysical Christians, it's our responsibility to choose, because morality chooses for you. Got it? Okay. Did that bother you, that little example? Oh, it just hurt my heart because it hurt my heart that it happened, and it hurt my heart that I'm still so attached to it. And I did go to a moral vantage point first versus a metaphysical, and I will own that. I did. So what we need to do is start looking at everything metaphysically. Metaphysically means we always have our choice. So Jesus told us, live in love, have your attitudes in love. He said, love God, love self, love others. Connect with spirit, self-care, and share the love you have. You realize the whole Beatitudes is about self-care? Okay. Now we're going to bring it home to you, because this whole world, our world, needs to become awake. So I'm going to share some counseling with you, and this isn't about any of you in particular. So when I'm counseling people, now we're bringing morality and metaphysics home. Got it? Got it? Got it? Okay. Once you're ready. So I'm in counseling with someone, and they're talking about what they need, and then they say to them, but that makes me so selfish. And I go, oh, what does selfish mean to you? And they say, not me selfish, them being selfish for wanting something. They say, selfish means to me that I'm making myself more important than others. And my answer is always, what's wrong with that? And their answer is always, well, I'm not supposed to do that. And I ask them, why? Because that's the way it is. Anytime that's the way it is comes out of anyone's mouth, they are in a moral moment. They have accepted the morality that has handed to them instead of choosing what they want to do. You guys with me on that? So if we look at it metaphysically, so the problem is if I'm selfish, morality, the morality majority tells me I should put aside my own needs, live for the good of the whole, and stop being a whiny person. You know, I should just suck it up and deal, because then I can be accepted with them and get my reward. Energetically, what we're doing is, if I am living to a code that I don't even understand and I'm accepting that I must dim my light for others, then I am giving them power and depleting myself. That's the metaphysics of it. If you want to live in that morality, that's great. But realize you are dimming your light and giving that morality power. And everybody else that that you need to put in front of you. Got it? Being selfish, the very fact that you feel selfish means you have a desire that's been born. I have a desire, I have a need, I have something I want to do. So if I allow myself to have it, what will I experience? Fulfillment, joy. I'll be happy. If I allow myself to fulfill that desire within me, I have now drawn energy to me, which will lift me and make me more happy. And when I am happy and fulfilled, how am I going to vibrate? Higher. And how am I going to bless the whole? I am literally giving everybody else permission to be happy and fulfilled because I am doing that. I allow my unique light to shine when I lift out of that expectation of the group. My unique light. I am blessed and I bless all. I have more light to share and I am more of me. When you say that's the way things are, you are living in morality. When you say, I choose to receive my desires, I am living metaphysically. Say, I got it. I got it. Do you see that you mess up? Yes. Okay, here's another one. Counseling. Are these fun? Counseling. Oh, God, I'm my client now. Oh, God, that person is in my life and they're just so self-centered. The world just revolves all around them. And I say, and the problem? Well, they never think about me. And the problem? Well, I always have to think about them. Oh. Maybe you want to think about yourself first? But I can't. I have to think about them because they're so self-centered. And if I want to be in their world, I have to make them first. Do you hear me? All right. There is in our moral society an idea that we feed someone's power. And some of us love to feed power. It gives us a sense of identity. I have to totally break it down very carefully to my client in this moment to tell them it's your choice and to tell them there's nothing wrong with being self-centered because in reality we are all self-centered and we should be self-centered. I should be the center of my world. I should be the center of my world. I should be. I am writing the script. I am writing the script. And if I want to serve someone who's self-centered, that is my choice. And if I do it, yay me. There's something wonderful for me there. But I am choosing. I'm not accepting some code that the dominant has to be fed and I have to be secondary. Does anybody deal with this one? Just a little bit? Okay. If you really accept that your world does revolve around you and become aware, you are now self-aware versus self-centered. And do you realize how many people are so afraid of being self-centered? I don't want you to think I'm self-centered. Why? I want to think you're self-centered. I want you to be self-aware. I want you to be the center of your universe. Do you hear? Is that comfortable when I say that? No. Thank you, Bonnie. Bonnie and I are of the age where we both went through that same morality. All right. So we need to choose. All right. Here's just a few little quick things that I want to go over with you. They're going to be fast, but I just want to try to stimulate your brain. And if you'll look on the back of your bulletin, I gave you some little bullet points so you can remember those later. Moving from meta to the meta versus morality of these ideas. Okay, everybody got that? Now put it down. We're going to move fast. Ready? Okay. The idea of saving others, boy, man, I was taught that was so important. Saving others versus channeling good. Like I had to save people. That was where I was raised. But I was in a different generation than a lot of you all. But there was a lot of, middle class was weakened at the time and everybody needed help and it was really a strange situation. But we always had to save people. You had to save people. And the idea of looking for someone that needed saving, yeah, you would seek out people that were less than you. Do you realize that? And you seek them out, they're less than you, and you try to bring them goodness. But the minute they become your equal, they go away from you. Because you now need to find somebody else that's less than you. And I'm talking about on every single level. The reality is, by right of vibration, if you have a generous, loving heart, you're going to help everyone. By right of vibration, if you have a strong, generous, loving heart, you are cascading love into the world. And anyone who needs that love can gather it. The need to save people, actually, in order to have that in your head, you have to look at them as less than. And moral code says we need needy people. Moral code says that. No one can be strong. Not everybody can be strong, and not everybody can be equal. Some of us need to be needy, and some of us need to be more powerful. That is the moral code. And so we go around helping the needy people, but they're always going to be needy. Do you understand that? Okay. We came through it. I don't know if y'all did. We came through it. The reality is we want to share our good and allow everyone to be the Christ. So even when we're helping someone, we see the Christ in them. I behold the Christ in you. One time a gentleman came to the church. I was leaving. I was the last one here. It was during a weekday. He pulled up in his nice truck, had no money, and was asking for a handout. He seemed nice enough, And I looked at him. This is many years ago. And I said, I immediately said, I behold the Christ in you, and I know you're strong and capable. I know this is a moment in time. I didn't say it out loud. I said it in my heart to him. And I said, well, where's your church? He said, well, I don't have one. I said, you should find one. You should find a church. Find a church that you feel comfortable in. Here, stopped, dug in my purse. All I had was a $50 bill. Here, it's all I got to give you. Here's a $50 bill. Do what you need to do with it. But think about getting some spiritual support in your world. Think about giving yourself that. Give yourself that. And in that, he looked at me and he thought about it, and he didn't have anything to say. He thanked me and he got in his car and went away. It was a moment, though, where I did not see him as less than. Like, oh, you having a hard time, Betty? Okay, let's talk. Let's chit-chat. I could see his strength. I could see his strength. There was another time a young lady came and she was doing her thing, and her thing was quite elaborate, and she was looking for money. And I looked at her, and in my mind I said, I see you. I see you're strong, you're capable, and you're quite the actress. I love it. I love it. I love it. I gave her something, and I gave her some thank you, and sent her on her way. But I saw who she was. She's God's child. She's not in need. She's having a moment. So I applaud, pay for the performance, and off we go. It was easy. Do you see? Yeah. But are y'all seeing? We always want to see each other. And if you've ever, have any of y'all ever had someone look at you as if you were needy? And you go, please don't. I'm a child of God. Please don't. I may not have what you have, but I have. I'm a child of God, and I can have anything I want. I'm good. It's something that when they do that, where are they? Are they looking at you metaphysically? No. Morality. We have to get our brains switching. Are your brains switching up a little bit? Okay. I've got just a couple to go through real quickly. One is, let's stick with need for just a second. This is my parents taught me this. Don't take anything unless you absolutely need it. And man, did they need stuff. That we create an idea of I need in order to receive instead of I can be abundantly prospered without doing anything. I can breathe right here and be abundantly prospered. I'm ready to receive. I don't need to need. Do you see that? And what does morality say? Oh, no. Do you know how many people will call the church and say, do y'all need some money? Like, God told me to give you some money. Well, then give us the money. We don't have to have a need. Give us some money. We have a joy to receive it, and it will be put to good use. Do you see? So I am ready to receive. I don't need to need. I don't need to give to need. I just need to shine my light, share my energy. And then that brings us to the idea of paying price for life. Again, this is one of the older ones. You can look on the thing. When I was raised, you had to pay. You had to pay. You had to pay. You had to put your dues in. You had to put your dues in. You had to pay. Young kids, maybe not so much. But when we start thinking metaphysically, and that's the moral expectation. When I was changing jobs back in my day, you always took a cut. Now you would never take a cut. Never. But in my day you did. Why? Because it was morally expected of you. You take a cut to prove yourself. You prove yourself again, you make more money. You take a little cut to get the next one, you make more money. Take a little cut. That was your way of proving that you could do that dang thing blindfolded. Did I? Yes. Was I capable? Yes. Did I always end up with more than I started? Yes. It was the moral game. It wasn't the game of standing in my own truth and saying, no, I'm pretty dang good and you can pay me this. Or not. It's fine. See the difference? When we're talking about money and talking about life, metaphysically, I want you to begin thinking that I am going to shift from paying my way, paying any dues, paying, to investing. To investing. If it takes me, if the structure says you can't do something till so many years, I'll invest my energy and let God tell them how many years I need to do it. Doesn't have to be that. I'm like, invest my energy and let my life grow in that space. And I may not even be there in so many years. I may have moved on. I'm investing my energy. I'm not paying dues. Do you see the difference? And when we do that, we are totally free to invest in the moment and move in the next. Because everything that we gave was for me. I gave it for me. I'm investing in my life. I'm investing in my experience. I love giving for me. We're going to have a food drive in January. It starts today for the North Fulton County Charities, which is 5 miles away from us, and they service 1,000 families or 1,000 people, I'm not sure, quite a few in this area. And these are people that are in that moment, children of God, strong and capable, but in that moment need a little help with some food. And food prices are going a little high, and we know they got a good kick out in December, and we are going to contribute to them in January. Do they need it? Yes. Are we giving because they need it? No. We do it 2 or 3 times a year. Because we want to. Because we want to contribute to this place in our community that's contributing to our community. And I know the people they service are not the same ones every day. People get on their feet. People get going. It's a moment in time. So we are contributing to our community because we want to. Because we choose to. Because I love to give my veggies and I love to buy extra little things that somebody else might not, you know? This is investing in my fellow man. Not giving to need. Do you see the difference? Okay. So I won't go on much. But I do want to read something to you. You can look at the little thing. There's a few more things, choosing and blaming. There's a few more little things on your bulletin that you can look at. But I wanted to read you this. Jesus really, really, really hits the lawyers at one point. He's talking to the lawyers and magistrates. And I wanted to share this with you. Actually, Spirit asked me to. Because it's kind of harsh. I never teach on this because it's harsh. Jesus is laying into them. It's on chapter 108. The Pharisees. And he says, woe to you Pharisees, y'all clean your outer cup and you let the inside be all a mess, which means like you look good, but you're like messing up inside. And he says, you love the highest seats, you're in your ego. Then he says this. A lawyer was sitting nearby and said, Rabboni, your words are harsh. And then in what you say, you censure us. Why? I mean, this is a sincere lawyer going, why are you saying these harsh things? And Jesus said, woe unto you, masters of the law. Now, as I read this, I want you to say this to your thoughts. I want you to talk to your own brains. Masters of the laws you live by, those moral things you live by. I want you to really talk to yourself here. You masters of the law, you heap great burdens on the sons of men, your laws that you live by, and your load is far too great for them to bear, and you never help to bear a feather's weight yourself. How often when your head starts talking to you about what should be, and you say, why should it be? And it says, I don't know, just do it. You have accepted the morality, the code you came through, and it will not budge. It is the master of your law. And Jesus says, woe to you, brain, making all these things hard. Woe to you, masters of the law, you snatch the keys of knowledge from the hands of men. You close the doors and enter not, and suffer the willing ones not to enter. Our own brains act like those lawyers. If it's the law, it must be true. Y'all, in my research about the marriage thing, I've discovered that fornication, which is sex between two unmarried adults, is against the law basically in the whole United States. Oh, you masters of the law. And although it's not necessarily enforced, it could be at any given moment. And all of us would be in jail. Pretty much. Maybe not a couple, but do you understand? Laws, even if they're not active in our brain, they're there. They're there. We need to let our spirits come forward and say no to these laws. Anything that has taken my choice from me is a law in my head, and normally it's morality-based. It's societal. It's based. So I need to come back and make a choice in me. Inside me. You guys getting it now? Yeah. How tricky and tight it can be. Religions have historically governed human behavior by creating rules instead of choices. Energy, when we look at it, is all choice. What do you want? Morality tells you what to choose. God says, what do you choose? We ready? Let's go within. God, I ask that your light and your love engulf each of us. And Father, I ask that a beautiful calm of light come over each individual. I know this service was mental, but I ask that your love now just begin to move through this column and begin to feed each one of us. You are okay. You are good. Take the love. And just let that love move through you, activating your heart, your mind, your spirit. And I want you to feel within your heart the words that I can choose. I can choose. And just let those words go deep within. And send it now to your brain. Subconscious mind, I can choose. Father, Mother God, I ask that your love begin to pour into us, to fill us to overflowing with light, to lift us into feeling the spiritual guidance of the truth of our own souls, the truth of our spirits. Let us feel love. And let our choices be love-filled. But we can still choose. And whatever we choose is a reflection of us. Feel the love of God supporting you. Father, Mother God's love supporting all that you are and all that you do. And let a cleansing just kind of move through your body. I let go, and I'm willing to become. I let go, and I'm willing to become. Feel the love of Jesus Christ stepping forward, taking you by the hand. And you are ready. Take a breath. Let your focus come back to this moment in time. Grateful to be on the planet. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Are you glad it's over? No. Just beginning, guys. Just beginning. The shocking thing that you will experience is how often we reference our history, the morality code that we came through, and even that is still prevalent today, instead of choice. And I will end with this. Yes, if you choose something that is outside of the code, yes, you will not be in that comfort zone of moral acceptance. You will not. Where will you be? Who will you find in the outside that zone? Yeah. All the children of God that have done it. All the children of God that stand there. They're going to, yeah, hey, good for you. I don't even care what you chose. There are whole lives that walk outside that zone. So you choose what you choose. Yeah, God.